Today's Monday, and so we're back for another episode of Make It Happen Mondays. And today we're talking about these things just here, monitor light bars. I've had plenty of people ask me if they're worth buying, what's the actual point of them, if they're purely just for aesthetics, or if they actually have practical benefits. If you're new here, my name is Nick, and on this channel we talk about ways to make your content quality better. Now for me, I've been using monitor light bars for probably over 2 years now. So let's go through just a few reasons why I personally still use them, and then you can make up your own mind if you think they're worth it or not. So the first reason why I personally like monitor light bars is because it saves on desk space. And this is basically because then I don't need a lamp on my desk. This lamp is the light that I used to use on my desk, and as you can see, it's fairly big and bulky. The base is pretty heavy and takes up a pretty large space. And so having a monitor light bar means you can remove those lights from your desk. Following on from that, the second reason why I like them is that they give me more even lighting than using a lamp. Because it's essentially an LED strip that runs along the top of your monitor, you really do get quite uniform lighting across your desk. Whereas with a standard lamp, you probably get a spot of light on one side or the other of your desk, which also has the downside of potentially glaring into your eyes, depending of course on the type of lamp that you're using, and that also might add some glare and spill onto your monitor, which especially if you're working in a dark environment can be really annoying. It personally drives me nuts, especially when I'm trying to color grade if there's glare on my monitor. Whereas the way monitor light bars are designed, they're generally designed so that there's no glare into your eyes and there's no glare on your monitor. Now of course some are better than others, so make sure you check out reviews of the monitor bar that you're looking at to make sure that it will do the job. But if you get a good one like I have, then they're actually really good at focusing the light just on your desktop. Now the third reason why I personally like to use them is because they arguably reduce eye strain. And correct me if I'm wrong, and I did some research into this, but as far as I can tell, there's no real studies that have been done specifically with monitor light bars. However, there does seem to be plenty of research out there that suggests that working in a dimly lit environment on a bright monitor can cause eye fatigue. Whether or not that's permanent damage or not, I think is arguable. But I've personally found that if I work in a dark room on a monitor, it does seem to give me a bit of a headache, make my eyes feel strained. And so the idea of having a monitor light bar is that it just evens out the lighting across your environment. So rather than just having the light only coming from your monitor, it's just adding extra lighting to your environment. In this case, it's to your desktop. I personally think ideally you'd combine this with other sources of lighting. So for me, I've got a second desk lamp, which I just use for a bit of extra ambience. And I'll often have my blind open as well during the day, just for some natural lighting. I think the bottom line is the more lighting the better, and the less contrast the better. And then lastly, I do actually think they look cool. I think the aesthetic of a monitor light bar on a nice desk setup is really nice. Now that's obviously subjective and that's just my opinion, but for me that's a valid reason to keep using them. I've got a BenQ Screen Bar Pro and it's super easy to set up. It's pretty typical. You literally just sit it on top of your monitor and it kind of just clips on, and then you can just plug it in via USB. There is quite a range in terms of prices out there. You can get really cheap ones all the way to super expensive ones. I've personally found that cheap ones do a solid job. The more expensive ones like the BenQ, I think do take it to that next level and really make sure you don't get that glare on your monitor. But at the end of the day, I think they're probably more of a nice to have. I don't think they're essential for a desk setup, but if you do value good lighting and you've got the extra cash, then I definitely don't see why you wouldn't want to get one. That's just my personal opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think of monitor light bars. They seem to be kind of controversial for some reason. And if you're interested in seeing my desk setup for this year, then make sure you check out my desk setup video right here.